wanna show you what I know. Break it free from the mainstream, the studio machine. I want it my way. Indie Film Nation. I want it my way. Indie Film Nation. Going all the way. Indie Film Nation. You know it's gotta be Indie Film Nation.
ستارة نهرم نوا نوضة ستارة نهرم نوا
تنها رئیس ماست که میتواند سرنوشت هنرمندتان را تعیین
من دخول و زنگکی مال چل رازی 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 من دخول و زنگکی مال چل رازی
اعتبار نداره مردم ایران
یا امسال خوب کنم
یک دختر نباید یک زن آزاد باشه
مثلا خدا کنه مثلا یک دفعه میبینیم که از میدونه که اینجا آمده که رای بگیریم مثلا یا
اگه میخونم اما به شرط شرایط اسلامی میخونه خوب
و قصد را بکشید
Hi, Sue Lawson here for Indie Film Nation. Joining me today from Sundance is Havana Marking, the director of Afghan Star, which is one of the features that is premiering here. It is premiering here, premiering here at Sundance. We're very excited about this. We were talking before. Tell me a little bit more about your movie.
Basically, it's about a television series in Afghanistan that has just everyone's watching it, basically, in Afghanistan, and it's a local version of Pop Idol or American Idol. It shares the same format. People vote for their favorite singer by phone, which is for many people the first time they've ever even come across democracy. It has the series that we filmed. We were backstage filming the whole thing. There were 2,000 contestants. 3 of them were women, which is obviously a tiny number, but it's amazing that women could even come out, considering the background of Afghanistan and the repression under the Taliban. So it's a way to see the change and the dreams and the hopes of the young people, especially of Afghanistan. The young people of Afghanistan make up, well, 60% of the population is under 21, which is an extraordinary demographic, and they are desperate for peace, development, education, and this really gives them a voice.
What was the genesis for this project for you? What brought this to your attention?
I had been trying to get to Afghanistan for years. I've always just wanted to go there, and I've just been looking for subject matter and talking to people and that kind of stuff. And in the process, I managed to speak to a war journalist out there, and she told me that it was happening. And I just knew that it would be an amazing way in. It's a format, you know, the TV reality entertainment show, you know, the big final, you know, going regional auditions coming down to one final is a format we all know and understand. You know, we might love it or we might hate it, but we all understand it. So it's a brilliant way in to a country and a culture that maybe we don't understand.
Now, how long was your shooting schedule?
We were there for about 4 months, which was obviously a long time, but we had to follow a lot of people because we didn't know who was going to make it to the final. So you follow a lot of people, but you cut it down to the number, you know, the people that you need.
What were some of the challenges that you faced shooting in that?
Okay, from a filmmaker's perspective, it was actually everything. Now, at the time, you could see that things were real struggle, but actually now I look back and I realize it was it just made you so free because of kidnapping threats. You could only you could just turn up. You couldn't tell anyone in advance where you would be, so you just had to just arrive or follow someone or just hope that they would come. You couldn't say, be there on Monday at 9 o'clock, bring your family, blah, 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 whatever. So you just had to just go with the action, and there was never any way of prepping things or preparing things, which meant that actually it was hugely, you know, liberating, actually, as a filmmaker, because you didn't have to. The other thing was there's very little electricity. You can't, you know, we had no equipment basically. We just had one tiny camera, me and a cameraman. That was it. You don't want to draw attention to yourself, so you have to be a very small mobile crew, and you couldn't light things. There was no electricity in people's houses. You just had to use the natural light. Again, completely liberating. Actually, you just focused on the stuff that was important, which is the people in your film.
Now, you said it was a very small crew, just you and the camera person. What was it that you were shooting? What was the camera that you used?
We used a Sony Z1, so it's HDV. And actually, I mean, it is looking, I can't believe that such a little camera can produce such, you know, on the big screen, it's beautiful. On the proper HD print, it's fantastic. But it was a really tough camera because the conditions there are just really, there is dust like you can't believe. There is just dust all the time. My cameraman had to clean the camera every single day, all the time. You know, he was just, it wasn't like a normal kind of every few days or whatever. He was just like cleaning it all the time. You couldn't change lenses because it's too risky to take the lens off and put another, because the dust will just get inside. So we just had to use the wide angle all the time, basically, which is actually the landscape and everything suited that. So it you know, we just went with it.
Do you think that the challenges that you faced added to or enhanced the creative process?
Definitely, definitely. It just meant that we focused only on the story. We knew instead, you know, in a normal situation you might be worrying about how something looked like, or you know, trying to make sure everything. I mean, we never could make sure anything was silent. You know, we couldn't say shush, stop talking now, or anything. You just had to just go with it, and it meant that we were super sensitive to what was going on. So you would realize, and everything's speaking in a foreign language, obviously, but we just became almost telepathic as to what was going on around us, and you know, we could feel something brewing before it. And I'm sure it was because we were completely free. We couldn't even have call sheets. There were no printers there. So normally, you know, you write down where you're going to be and what you're going to do and what numbers. Nothing. We were just there. We didn't even have to read a bit of paper. So it was fantastic.
For this to be your first film, and for your first film to be premiering here at Sundance, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Yeah. Huge congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the post-production process.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
Whew. Actually, it was interesting because we, one of the problems as well is that being in Afghanistan, even though essentially what we were doing is non-controversial because it's about a music pop idol. Of course, it is hugely controversial in Afghanistan. That's one of the things. It becomes, in the end, I mean, the story becomes very, it's almost like a thriller, like a drama thriller, because you know, people start sending death threats and it all snowballs. And anyway, it's an extraordinary story. And we were always worried about the rushes being confiscated. And you have to go through military checkpoints, and people are always very suspicious of tapes. So one of the things that we did was my editor came out with me to Kabul, and he set up a thing so that we could just every day download or whatever the word is. What's the word? You put you transfer the
capture
capture the rushes from the.
Speaking as an editor, capture.
Thank you. I'm glad he's not here to tell me off. So we'd capture the rushes onto a big drive, and make sure that the rushes were somewhere safe and the drives were somewhere safe, but somewhere different. And for some reason, you could take drives through, you wouldn't imagine it, but you could take them through military checkpoints and people wouldn't mind about them because they just thought, oh, it's a computer or something. Whereas tapes, everyone's very suspicious of tapes. What's on these tapes? Why are you what have you been filming? So actually it turned out that we did that all the way along the line as we just, high res, full res drives of everything. We also, one of the things that we did, which was just beautiful, was that one of the deals to be allowed to have the access to go in there was that we also trained some of the staff in the TV channel I mean, they're like 19, 20 years old, the people running this channel. None of them have got any experience in TV. They're just learning as they go along, and they're amazing. They're amazing people. And so it's a real honor to be able to sort of train people and help people and things. And there's another reason why my editor came out, and he also helped them sort of, you know, sort of get a little bit more sophisticated in their editing techniques and things like that. So we were there, we did the first month of editing in Kabul. And then we came back, which was very boring. It's very boring to be in London doing it in a posh edit suite. We were like, but where's the danger?
No death threats anymore. No sand.
No, exactly. God, this is boring. No, it was. I mean, it was all good. Actually, it was a huge relief to come back and just be able to focus on the project and stuff. So it was great.
Are there lessons that you learned on this one that you would apply to the next film that you do? And what is your, are you already planning your next film?
I've got a few ideas in development, but nothing with funding. I mean, people have said, yes, if you find the characters, I'm interested in that. So I've got to go now and find the characters, which is always difficult, but it's also the fun bit. I mean, that's when you're on your own, just out there talking to people. That's amazing. I mean, that's why documentaries are the best things in the world, because you can talk to real people and about. It's amazing. Yeah,
you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly, I mean, I know I'm in the wrong place, but I don't know why anyone would want to work with actors when you could work with real people. But you've got to love your characters. I can sit through and watch the film again and again because I just love them, and I really am inspired. You know, they are inspiring, and what they're doing, all of them, the people, the young people making the program, the people, you know, the contestants, and the people watching it. You know, it's dangerous what they're doing, and they're doing it because they believe in something more. You know, they believe in the power of music and the power of singing, and they want their country to come alive. Basically, you know, that's what they feel, and I still love them every time I watch the film. And I think I couldn't, personally, I wouldn't be able to make a film about people that I didn't just love.
Well, the amount of time that you spend in the filmmaking process,
yeah,
your love or dislike of the characters is going to come through in that final, in the final cut.
Yeah.
So it's important for you to be able to love your characters, because if you don't, your audience won't either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Havana, I really appreciate the time that you spent with us. Havana Marking, her film, Afghan Star, here at Sundance. First film for her here. First film ever. It's very, very exciting. I look forward to seeing you here next year again, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very much. Thanks. Sue Lawson, Havana Marking, Indie Film Nation.
Indie Film Nation, I want it my way. Indie Film Nation, going all the way. Indie Film Nation, you know it's gotta be Indie Film Nation.
You're watching Robert Townsend on Indie Film Nation. I gotta go. They're starting my screening. Peace.